Welcome to the Talkies from Carmen Line Studios. Three talkers talking. What? Hey, start again. Three filmmakers talking about movies. I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
And I'm Taylor.
And today we are going to talk about Blue Velvet. Yeah, we've started a new thing where one of us is going to choose a movie the other two haven't seen and that we want them to see for our own selfish reasons.
That's right.
Yeah, and Taylor went first.
I went first, so I picked Blue Velvet because David Lynch be like, what?
Yeah, who here likes David Lynch?
Who here Lynch?
Just raise your hands.
My hand
don't
went up.
talk. Just raise your hands. Okay. Two hands are up. 2 out of 3. I won't say who they are, but maybe you can guess by the time we're done with the...
They're both Kenny.
I put up both my hands.
Should we just quick go hot takes?
Hot take it.
I guess I'll start since I've seen the movie.
Yeah, you forced us to watch this.
I did. I've seen this movie like 6 times now, and I'll say that I wasn't all that into it the first time I saw it, and then I grew to enjoy Lynch a little bit more over time, and I've kept coming back to it, and I really, really, really love this movie for a lot of reasons. A lot of the good performances, the crazy, just everything about it, really. Just everything about it.
So for me, this may be the only Lynch film I was lacking. I think I've seen all the rest.
You've seen Mulholland Drive?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the best movies ever made.
Damn.
So I think this completes it for me.
Sweet.
So my point in bringing that up is that I already have a good sense for David Lynch, and this delivered everything I hoped it would. I'm just like, going to David Lynch land, you know. It's like going into a theme park, you know. And if you know your theme park well, you know what kind of rides they're going to build for you there, right? You know the ride you're going to get at the Carnival versus Disneyland, you know? That's how I feel about any David Lynch movie. I know
going to the Carnival.
what I'm expecting, and it delivered, and I loved it. Yeah.
Cool.
I have the unpopular opinion of not really liking David Lynch so much.
Yeah.
And
who let this guy in here?
Right. Yeah. I'll just show myself out.
Awkward.
I like the movie. It had to do more with expectations, like Kenny said. I kept feeling like David Lynch is more of like a Spielberg to me, where Spielberg...
That's odd.
Spielberg, they both completely do their movies differently, but the way they approach building their cinema world, right? It's like every movie that you see with Spielberg is presented in a single Spielbergian way. Every movie that you see of Lynch is a very Lynchian way. It's just
that's
very
the theme park analogy I was going for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's very him.
Yeah.
And I liked it because it was very him. But as far as my taste in movies, it's not my taste in movies.
Yeah.
Very auteur driven. Yeah, I would expect something like that from you. I was wondering if you would hate it or what you'd think of it.
I think I hate movies if they're not done well.
Yeah.
And Lynch has always done his movies, as far as I know, pretty well.
Yeah.
So there's not really anything to hate here, unless you're talking about communication, to which I know there's very different opinions about how communication is handled in movies. So.
Yeah. David Lynch marches to the beat of his own drum.
Yeah.
When he makes movies. And so like Blue Velvet's kind of unique, I think, in his filmography because it's not so weird, but it's also not like straight-laced. It's like it's a middle ground.
Clearly not normal at the same time.
Exactly.
You know? What I like about Lynch is he never tries to convince the audience that the world his movie takes place in is your world.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to get you to accept this is your reality, and so it's going to feel more real to you because I'm going to bring it home, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He says this is my own universe. People talk a certain way, they behave a certain way, they interact a certain way, and in their world it's normal.
Right, exactly.
Right? I'm not going to try to convince you that it's normal.
Yeah, you take it or leave it.
I mean, from the very beginning, he when dude finds the ear, brings it to the police officer, and the guy's like, he's like, well, I found an ear, and he's like, is that so? An ear? Human ear?
Yeah.
I see. Well, this is an ear, right? It's like,
that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. that is a response that works in the universe that was intentionally planned out as Lynch's universe, right? He's saying this is my Lynch playground, right?
Yeah, it's just
it makes sense there. It works there. If you tried to pull off the same lines, the same performance in like CSI Miami, it'd be panned as the worst acting and writing you've ever seen.
Yeah, this is kind of the same way I felt about Eyes Wide Shut when I remember the weird dialogue between some of the characters, and it made me think, wow, their acting is very wooden. But then I was thinking, okay, well, Kubrick is a person who obviously intends a lot of the shit that he does, and seeing his filmography comes up to this point of Eyes Wide Shut, and I'm just like, oh, well, this must be the way he wanted them to act. It's not bad because he would have fixed it.
It would have been different,
right?
Yeah.
And so when I look at David Lynch, because I'm not so familiar with his movies, I see this kind of acting and weird writing, and I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah,
I don't like
that's
this.
kind of bad.
Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah,
but then
Lynch is the same way.
Yeah, if I look more into Lynch's history or just the way he does movies, I could probably agree with you there, where he builds his own world, but he also doesn't tell people this is my world. He doesn't tell people.
No, he lets the
you're
movie
entering
speak
somewhere.
for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he doesn't communicate, is what I would say, which is letting the movie speak for itself in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree with your police work there.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I think he is communicating. It's just like there's more layers of sort of like solving that you have to do. You know, it's like realizing that you have to learn a language before
Well,
the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
learning
I
a
like
language
that.
is a good.
Yeah, so the Rosetta
thing there.
Stone
Yeah.
is familiarity with his works, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or maybe going through a second time.
Right.
And once you have that Rosetta Stone, then you know what he's communicating.
Right.
And he is
Well,
communicating.
that's the way it works for every artist.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
A
when
unique
you.
style for an artist. you
Yeah,
know?
if you look
the
at
artist's voice.
That's exactly it. Yeah, as soon as you recognize their voice, you understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And Blue Velvet is cool. What I like about Blue Velvet a lot is the contrast, like the stark contrast of, like, I feel like that opening sequence of the town that's all perfectly Americana and like just the most
dog
pristine.
and the firefighter
riding by. He's
outside
just
of the
waving,
Just waving to
just
the
dreamy,
camera.
the most dreamy,
Yeah.
The
perfect
roses by the
suburban.
It
white
made me
picket
think
fence.
this was a
White
50s movie at first.
Yeah, it harkens back to that kind of thing. And then like how we then see Jeffrey's dad like have a heart attack
Yeah.
and fall over, and then we go into the grass and we see that underneath all this pristine perfectness is a dark, messed up
Bugs.
all the bugs and beetles just writhing around, going crazy. I feel like that's like a thesis for like the movie, where it's
Yeah.
like this top level, like melodrama high school movie, like, ooh, fun, we're gonna be detectives, kind of thing. But they're getting into some like really messed up stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that contrast of
Yeah.
like extreme melodrama and like really intense
Yeah.
like aggression and
it's
violence.
a funny idea. It's like taking Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys,
Mm-hmm.
these inquisitive teenagers who end up solving crimes because they followed their curiosity,
Right.
And those were like fairly innocent stories that came out of the 1950s. And the fact is that if you did have that curiosity bug and you wanted to go chase criminal activity,
Yeah.
you'd end up seeing some really bad things.
Yeah. Some messed up
like you
stuff.
wouldn't write children's novels about it.
I would like that if I got that from the movie. I mean, I did get the sense that's what they were saying, but because he was saying it in his Lynch way,
Yeah.
it made me not really get that.
Yeah, I didn't. I like that. Like I said, the first time I saw this movie, I wasn't like. I didn't understand it really.
Yeah.
Like it took a few viewings and like understanding how Lynch likes to do things
Right.
in his movies for
Like-
me to start picking up on the themes
Yeah.
that I think are there.
The only way, I mean, like, the only other things that I can draw upon for Lynch is Eraserhead and the first few episodes of Twin Peaks. And
The thing with the monkey.
Oh, yeah. And that
Yeah,
thing.
Jack,
And
whatever
so,
that movie's called.
so knowing those other things, I mean, I can definitely see his voice in this. And I can see, like, this just felt almost exactly Twin Peaks to me, right? Just the way the...
Could have been a prequel.
It really
Yeah,
could have. It is proto Twin Peaks.
Yeah, the way the events played out and how they talk to each other and everything like that. And I could see the contrast, obviously. You know, I could see the messed up stuff and like what you were saying, Kenny, about the 50s, you know, detective kind of vibe, and like you were saying, Taylor. But yeah, for that to really hit home for me as a contrasting point, as something that was just like, wow, isn't this messed up? I'd have to know what David Lynch shows as messed up, because to me it didn't feel messed up. Like, I remember the first time that I watched what was the movie, A Clockwork Orange, and because I wasn't familiar with Kubrick's way of communicating, like, the rape scenes just looked funny to me. They just looked hilarious, and I'm just like, these aren't threatening at all. But then I looked at like the way Kubrick does stuff, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. And same with Lynch, I'm sure. So like right now, I see Frank as just a really bad actor, is what I see. So like the way he's like going crazy and stuff, I feel like I feel like I've seen him before in student films doing the crazy guy shtick, and I'm just like, this guy, ooh, I don't know if I can tell him that he's not doing it right.
So do movies typically just work for you when they nail realism? Is it realism that does it?
Maybe, but the thing is, like, realism can be different for each person.
Yeah.
And so for me, yeah, realism is a different vibe than what Lynch is putting here, because his realism, quote unquote, feels fake to me. It feels like a stage play.
It
almost.
totally does.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think that's an accident.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's trying to make. I don't think he's going for realism.
Right.
On screen.
Right.
More realism in your gut. You know.
Yeah. Well, so to me they feel then equal at that point, because you were talking about contrast.
Uncanny also.
Uncanny is definitely a thing here. But like you were talking about the contrast between, you know, pristine and just ugly, right?
Sure.
Like, and I love that contrast. But like when I look at the pristine, I'm thinking of the pristine, like almost cartoonish pristine, and the ugly is almost a cartoonish ugly, not to the extremes. They look different. It's just a different lens that people are looking through this.
Well, I felt Frank was pretty extreme.
Yeah. No, and from a Lynch
I
point
kind
of
of
view,
thought Frank would be the only part that you liked. Cause
he was funny
it was so
to me.
intense.
Like when
He
he's
is
like,
kind of
Pabst
funny.
Blue Ribbon,
Yeah.
and I'll fuck anything that moves. Like the whole vibe of him was funny, and I liked him as a character. But yeah, I didn't feel threatened by him ever. I never felt like he was dangerous. I always thought,
he scared me.
I feel like he's hella dangerous. Like,
yeah, see, that's funny to me.
He's like, what I like about Frank's character so much is how focused a character he is. He has one mode, and it is just being an absolute menace to society at all times.
Yeah.
Just being as intense as possible as you can muster, to like an absurd degree, to where like he's doing all, like he's even like subverting like tough guy.
Yeah, well, he's
tropes
fueled
while
by
being enraged.
infantile impulses.
Yeah, exactly. Like you wouldn't think of like a really tough, dangerous man as somebody who would like take you out to the desert, put lipstick on, and start making out with you before killing you,
or sobs every time he puts on a certain song.
I know, but that was what he was. That's my point is that a tough man wouldn't like the traditional dangerous kind of role that he's filling gets like warped sexually.
Yeah.
And that makes it feel even weirder and even more like messed up.
The dude
like
in
how he fetishizes stuff.
Yeah.
Like hella messed up.
In Silence of the Lambs.
Lecter?
Yeah, the I don't know, the guy
The guy
put
making
the,
the
put the
skin
lotion
suit?
on its skin. Yeah,
Okay, so that guy's name was
you guys know what I'm talking about. That guy.
not Lecter, but
Yeah.
the skin suit guy.
Yeah, skin suit guy.
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill, that's his name.
Thank you.
He feels like what you're describing to me, and it nails it in that movie to me. But this guy, no, this guy feels like a bad actor. Frank feels like a bad actor to me. Tuco Salamanca also feels like this.
But see, but that's the difference. Is
Yeah.
Tuco
Yeah.
and Buffalo Bill are scary in our world.
Yeah,
You have to go to Lynch's world
right,
to feel
Yeah.
the menace.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not in Lynch's world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely it.
That's it.
Come on in, man.
Come to Lynch's
Come
world.
on in. It's a good time.
I'll give you a fast pass.
That's interesting.
You know, like the two freshest Lynch films on my mind are Eraserhead, and it's also the one I've watched the most. But it's the one I've seen most recently, along with the short with the monkey and the chicken.
Yeah.
Jack something or other.
Something.
What did
about
Jack do?
Yeah. What did Jack do?
What did Jack do? I think that's it.
Yeah.
With those two at the front of my mind as defining Lynch world, this movie just felt very grounded and very easy to understand for me. Like I'm like,
that's why I
it's a
picked
breeze.
that. That's why I picked Blue Velvet actually specifically, was because it's compared to like Eraserhead, or honestly the rest of his like filmography even, this is probably his most grounded movie outside of like The Straight Story, but he didn't write that movie. This is the most grounded movie he's written and directed. And I really like that about it. I like the notes he hits on that middle ground, you know, because he goes like way out there in like Mulholland Drive and those other ones, which I want to. You haven't seen Mulholland Drive, D?
I haven't. No.
You got to see that movie.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, I like Eraserhead a lot, but I like it because it's so out there to me. Like it's
you might
Eraserhead doesn't even try to make a real narrative.
no. Like when
no.
the dude freaking, I forgot the main character's name, Eraserhead.
Henry, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, when he walks into his girlfriend's house and they just start like the mom screams or sings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dad's talking about his knees and the pipes in the city. Like it's just so far removed from reality that I'm just like, fuck yeah, let's go there. Like, but
Because it's blended.
right,
Yeah.
right, because it's almost completely. It's not even surreal at that point. It's just dreamlike at that point.
Yeah, it's very dreamy
Yeah.
and uncanny.
And
Just
uncanny.
like really uncanny.
Yeah. And I like that stuff about this movie.
Yeah.
The uncanny nature of like, okay, wait, I got to talk about this real quick. What's her name? Laura Dern's character.
Yeah.
What's her name? Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah.
This has got to be intended. Sandy isn't supposed to be real in like the first half of the movie. Is that right?
I'm not sure what you mean
Like
by
doesn't
that.
exist.
Like doesn't exist.
Like is like in his imagination.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I
then
didn't get that.
then blends back in. I thought that I picked up on it, and I thought they were going to reveal that, but then I was like, oh wait, this is David Lynch, and he doesn't do that kind of thing.
He
So I
doesn't
was-
reveal.
Right. So then I was like, okay, so then all the things I picked up on are either one, just completely my imagination, or two, he did it on purpose. And I'm like, if this is on purpose, this is freaking cool. Because what they did was, like, every time they went to the restaurant, Sandy never got food.
Yeah.
every
I noticed
time-
that this time.
Yeah, every time that Sandy interacted with, what's his name, using an external motive, like honking the horn, for example, he couldn't hear the horn because the toilet flush. She didn't get to the apartment in time to do the thing because there was another guy. Like everything was just so happened to block her access, and so it would be really, it'd make a whole lot of sense if she just didn't exist as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that's just the vibe he was going for. That's why he never revealed anything, because it's just a strange vibe. Same with her, like her entrance. The first time we see her, she just comes out of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
darkness.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is just really surreal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That's a cool way to think. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
She obviously is tied into things that actually happen in the story, though, later on.
Halfway.
Right.
That's why I said
Yeah.
halfway. Yeah, because then they start. She starts interacting with her father, and it's
they
she's
get
a
chased
character.
by her ex-boyfriend and
Yeah.
all that.
That
even
scene's
even that
messed
part.
up.
Even when the ex-boyfriend said Sandy, or the one guy drove by and said, "Hey, babe," like she never
doesn't
responded
react to it.
Yeah,
Is the guy saying that to him then?
that's what I was thinking. But then she comes back, like you said, she becomes a real character later on. So.
Yeah.
When man, what was the singer's name? I forgot her name.
Blue Velvet Lady.
Blue Velvet Lady shows up naked at the end in front of Sandy, and then like it's all kind of Sandy sees what's going on here, and like the heartbreak on her face
No.
when all that's just happening in
Like,
front of her.
Laura
That's
Dern
messed up.
just delivered on being the face of naive innocence.
Yeah,
Like really, really well.
yeah.
I wish I could go there with you guys. That sounds fun over there.
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was awesome. I loved her performance so much.
No, I liked her performance. I thought it was funny the way it was done.
There's nothing about this movie.
D, you gotta
that's
put
funny.
on some
This is funny.
platform shoes so
Guys, this is a brilliant comedy.
you're not tall enough to ride the ride.
I think you mean I'm not short enough to ride the ride.
Oh, sorry.
I need to be stunted.
You gotta be stunted.
You gotta be
have to
stunted.
stoop down
Yeah.
to his.
You
No,
gotta
they
turn
have
off
those
your
kiddie
brain.
rides at the carnival where they don't let adults on.
Oh yeah, I guess that is what.
No,
That's
you're
a David Lynch
You're not
movie.
allowed in the ballroom.
You're too tall.
The
I'm too tall for the ballroom.
ballroom's for kids only.
That's so funny.
Honestly, you got to have a low IQ to understand.
Yeah, to be fair, you gotta have a pretty low IQ to understand David Lynch. That's kind of true. I feel like I was thinking about this watching the movie. I was like, David Lynch does not scratch the intellectual side
Not at all.
of your brain. Yeah, but
No,
he's not
yeah.
trying to.
No, he's not. And
It's purely emotional.
yeah, when I was watching, when the first quarter of the movie, I think there's a lot of these close-ups of just like when he goes into the grass. I thought was really interesting, and the noise that the ants made.
Yeah, like it's all
Yeah,
exaggerated.
it's completely exaggerated. But I was thinking of specifically your
Mm.
movies, and I was just like, man, this feels so
Those
Taylor.
parts felt like Taylor movies.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was like, I understand what he's trying to do here. And when you look at the other stuff, the dialogue between characters and stuff, he doesn't sit on that kind of stuff for very long. You can tell that that's just not his motive. You know, when he has someone just talking out the plot, he keeps it really lean.
Yeah.
There's no fat whatsoever
Yeah.
between here. Like you can tell with other directors that are like, say like bad directors will usually get like this two people in a room kind of situation, and then they'll have them talk, and they'll try to work in subtleties of like people, you know, drinking coffees at certain moments or giving off characteristics that you pick up on later, but they're not fully in there. And so what it feels like is just fat. It just feels like there's things that are happening that don't belong here. And you're just like, that's just bad filmmaking. But Lynch is so lean with all that stuff. He doesn't need all that extra characteristics. And it just makes sense not to have it.
Yeah.
So I respect that out of him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is cool. It is very cool.
I love the scene, the candy colored clown scene when he's lip syncing with
when the
light.
girl is the light.
The first time
Dude,
they use it.
That was so funny. He took like this thing. I'm like, is that a microphone? And
Yeah.
then
Turns it
I was
on.
thinking, you tricked me.
That's
You
good.
tried to. You made me think it was a microphone.
That
The-
scene's insane.
The whole like just dynamic of that place and like what it was in their little criminal network was so strange and interesting. You know,
I thought it was
So-
interesting.
so
All the
bizarre.
girls there had the same physique.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're all kind of old and heavy.
Yeah,
and
that was weird.
And
Very
they're all
strange.
they're all just totally baked all the time and
Like-
just kind of overtly sexual.
Yeah, and there's like his crew there, and like the dude. There was one during the sing. There's the dude who's standing on the couch in the back, like holding a snake or something.
Raymond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's like dancing with a snake
He did,
on
yeah,
a
dancing
couch.
with Snake. I love that. He was on the like bar of the couch. Too.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
like
funny.
that's so bizarre. And everybody knows the candy colored clown. He just goes up to Ben and he's like candy colored clown for me, Ben. Do it for me. Like it's like a performance that they regularly do, like some ritual
that
or
he
something.
gets off on.
Yeah, that he's like
Yeah.
emotionally moved by.
That and Blue Velvet does his thing.
From a non-Lynch perspective, that part where he's talking to Ben and seeing Ben like seeing and everything, and he's like, well, okay, let's go, right? He just turns off the tape deck. It feels like he was having these homosexual feelings coming upon him. And then to crush him back down, he was like, let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's get out of here. And then Ben was like, you guys are going to go? And he's like, yeah, thanks, Ben. Come on, guys.
That's really interesting.
Clearly, he is pansexual.
Yeah.
He'll
fuck anything
that moves.
Yeah.
I'll fuck anything that moves.
You know, okay, so this is interesting, though. It speaks to...
As long as it doesn't look at him.
Sorry? Yeah, don't look at him.
Don't look at me.
It's dark now.
I'm sorry, you go first, D, actually.
It's dark now.
Now it's dark.
Okay,
that's
so
my favorite line.
Something that will that also I respect about David Lynch is his consistency, right? So the dude Frank at the end where he's kissing the other guy, everything that Frank did in this entire movie made sense to me. Like I was never taken aback and was like, oh, that guy's actually not this or whatever. I never was switched. I expect like he could have what. Well, he could have put on lipstick and made out with a dude, which he did, and it would have made sense because it's Frank. Like I like that consistency with. Yeah,
there's never a moment where you're like, he wouldn't do that.
Right. Yeah. All of it. In fact, all the characters were that way. Yeah. There wasn't a single moment that I was taken out of the movie, so that was cool.
Yeah, Lynch knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
and he's definitely doing his own thing.
He's doing his own thing, but he's doing it well.
But he's doing it like he's really doing it.
Yeah,
and it makes. It all adds up, you know.
Whoa! I think I just had a little epiphany here. We have a friend who makes films, who also likes to do his own thing, and is very. He's not consistent though, and I think it's because he doesn't have the courage to do his own thing fully. I think he draws back every now and then, and because of that, you get a dissonance. Yeah, and his films seem like they suck because. They're not fully one way or the other.
Got to commit if you're going to do your own thing.
Right, you got to commit, yeah.
I don't disagree, but it's a little douchey that we would just talk about Taylor in front of him like that. That's messed up.
I wasn't talking about Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, me neither. I was, yeah.
What?
Our other friend.
We do have other friends, Kenny. It's not just us three.
What? I've certainly not committed a few times.
No. I feel like you've fully committed in most of your movies. Your movies are so you. It's awesome.
Commit.
Yeah. I was talking about you, Kenny.
No.
I'm
not committed to
For
shit.
the record, I'm not talking about anyone at this table.
It's a podcast.
You're talking about
no one
don't
knows
be so
who's
hard
at
on
this
yourself,
table.
D.
There could be tons of
Okay, I was talking about me. I'm sorry.
One of my favorite things in all movies I've ever seen, my favorite little use of editing, is when Frank leaves. He's like, "I'll fuck anything that moves. Let's get the show on the road," and they just teleport. They just teleport away. They're just gone.
I loved that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Yeah, it was like a jump cut without a jump cut.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, who
really
does
cool.
that?
Get David Lynch.
David Lynch. No one else does that.
No one else.
There
And
are
it
a
made
couple
sense,
other
too.
transitions where I thought, if I put that in a movie right now, people would be like, "You suck at filmmaking."
Yeah, because you're not David Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly that. Well, same with Frank's. Like I said, same with Frank's acting.
Mm-hmm.
The actor himself. Had he been in, say, one of my movies, it would have been bad acting.
Yeah.
But it's because I didn't build it around that kind of thing. Yeah.
Correct. What's interesting about Dennis Hopper in this movie, he was at a really low point in his career where he was an alcoholic, and it like ruined a lot of jobs for him, and he was like a really bad person to be around for a while. He also talks
They
about
just
this.
told him to be himself.
Literally, his agent was like, "You can't do this movie," and Dennis Hopper was like, "I need to do this," because he's like, "I am Frank." He's like, "I need to do this."
I am this insane individual.
Yeah, he was literally like that.
That's
his agent was like, "This is career suicide." He's like, everyone in Hollywood right now thinks you're this terrible guy to work with, and he's like, "I largely have been." He's made he turned whatever issues he had around at this point. And he thought that his agent was like, if you do this movie, it'll just like everyone's going to think this of you forever, and it'll define it'll fuck you up forever.
I could see people doing that, honestly.
Yeah, but yeah, totally. Yeah. But it actually revitalized his career.
Yeah.
Because it was big.
Because he's good at that.
Because he's fucking good at it, Yeah.
That's funny.
Follow your heart, folks.
Yeah.
Yes. Follow your heart.
Follow your heart, not your agent.
Your natural intuition.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
It's pretty funny.
That's the law of attraction.
Oh.
That's what that is. He manifested that.
Wow.
By manifesting being an evil, awful person, he got the role he wanted.
Being an evil, awful
That's
person.
Yeah, he manifested that.
Wow.
You know,
I hope he wasn't
so beautiful.
Learn so
as
much.
bad as Frank.
He actually had to tone it down for Frank.
Yeah, sometimes David
He
Lynch is
also
just like,
was a
please.
murderer. He
He's like,
killed
listen,
people.
shit.
listen, don't do that, is what David Lynch was saying.
The part that always gets me too, that kind of makes me feel like I'm like watching it, and I'm like I feel like I'm not supposed to be looking at this. Like I shouldn't be even like, this is private. Like I shouldn't be watching this. Is when like the first time you see Frank with Blue Velvet Lady, and he's like on his knees, and he's like, mommy. He's
Baby
like,
wants to fuck.
baby wants to fuck, mommy.
He literally dry humps her.
Yeah.
Like his clothes are on. That whole time.
Fully on.
Okay.
He just
See,
kind
I
of
actually
rolls on
wasn't
top
sure.
of her.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was just
I
a David
watched it,
Lynch
I'm like,
thing.
wait, what on earth? Like he full on.
Yeah.
We don't
I
know
don't know,
what he's
but- okay.
huffing.
Well, wait a
the
second,
whole
wait a second.
movie.
There was a part where you said, Kenny, you saw what's his name put on his tie,
Yeah.
or you didn't see him put on. His tie was just on.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that.
I also thought it was funny that he would take time to put on his tie after this crazy experience he just had. He's like, well, I better put my tie
But
back on.
it was like a 2-second or 3-second cutaway.
Yeah.
Which obviously he couldn't get dressed in that amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that was like a Lynch thing or if that was just to save time.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Didn't really care.
Didn't really matter. In the end.
But Jeffrey is a character that's worth talking about a little more.
He's a strange character.
He's a very strange character, even
the most
in
normal character in this whole movie.
No. Well, maybe I'm just saying. Even in Lynch's world, he has bizarre intentions and ethos, like how he justifies things. That lengths he ends up going to are like
he's not necessarily a good guy.
there are points where I'm
no.
there are
Wasn't a good
points
guy.
where I'm like, I kind of feel like he needs to get it in the end, you know?
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought that was the intent of the movie, was to make him to follow someone who wasn't like morally correct.
Yeah.
But then then it didn't pay off, so I don't know. So I don't know what the point was.
Nah, he wins.
I think
It's a very
think-
happy
Well,
ending.
it's a happy ending.
I
too,
think
yeah.
there's
Extremely
this
happy
part
ending.
where Frank says to Jeffrey, he goes, "You're like me."
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting this time around. And then at the end, I thought that was interesting too, because I was thinking about how maybe, because I also thought about how Jeffrey and Sandy get back together in the end,
Right.
despite like an obvious deal breaker.
She like immediately is like I forgive you. I
Yeah,
love you.
and that's
Yeah.
kind of like, that's like the beginning of an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Also, it at least appeared to me that he was conflicted and felt messed up that he hit what's her name and might have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this like undercurrent of like, again, like the duality of like, on the surface he's a nice guy, but maybe deep down he's got some
Well, he
really messed
pretty
up
quickly
things, you know?
justified breaking into someone's house.
Well,
Right,
That's
yeah.
kind of the reason, I guess, why I was drawn to the idea of Sandy not being a real person, is because like if you take Sandy out of the equation, all of his motives are gone, and it starts to become, he went to the house because he wanted to spy on the girl. He wanted to eventually fuck her. He wanted to get in between this relationship, and he wanted to get into danger. And maybe this whole thing kind of manifested itself from picking up the ear and seeing the picture of Sandy on the detective's house, in the detective's house. So I thought this whole thing was in his mind because it was very dark what he was doing.
Yeah.
But then when Sandy is introduced as a real person, not introduced, she
Basically confirmed.
it's confirmed that she exists in the planet or in the world, in the planet, then it makes everything feel suddenly stilted. It didn't really. It felt surreal before, but now it just feels Lynchian. That's funny.
He transcends surrealism.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
What you were gonna say?
No, go ahead.
We're talking about, like, when we were talking about Coen Brothers and how Coen Brothers are clearly filmmakers who went to film school, and they're clearly writers almost first.
Yeah.
Like they're
Screenplay writers first.
Yeah, and their movies feel like that, and that's awesome. And it's them.
They lean into their superpower.
Yeah, and that is what they are. That they're being true to themselves by making a movie like that. David Lynch started out as a painter. He was a painter going to art school,
nice.
And then discovered that cinema was possible. So he's applying all of his surrealism, literal art, art theory onto cinema, onto a whole different medium.
It makes sense. It's like a Dali painting, but it's
and you once
cinema.
even said, I think in our Eraserhead episode, that Lynch, when Lynch has an idea, that he debates as to which art medium the idea belongs in.
Right, yeah.
Like not all good ideas have to be movies. It could be a painting or a piece of music or something, right?
Exactly. That's how he thinks about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, I think. I think that's pretty neat.
I kind of think that's how, I want to say that's how most people think about stuff, but maybe someone corners themselves too much into one area versus another, whereas Lynch, it just expands all over the place, so it makes sense to have like a multi-medium thing in his head.
Right, yeah. Because like Lynch is a musician, he's a sculptor and an artist, a painter. He probably sculpts, like, in the past decade, he's probably been more of a sculptor than a filmmaker.
You're like, this movie would have been a good sculpture, I think.
Dude, David Lynch would think like that. He just would.
That's good.
But could he look at a movie and say this movie would have made a good pizza?
Oh shit!
Wow.
How you like that transition?
That was a pretty damn
epic.
good transition.
That was a really good transition.
Well, it's that time of the episode, folks.
Damn, now we are cartoon. Who wants to go first?
Okay, so we're going to compare this movie to a pizza in an effort to rate it.
If you're unfamiliar, we do not rate movies by giving them stars or thumbs.
There is no rating but pizzas.
There is no rating but pizzas. We compare the movie to a pizza.
Pizza has nuance.
Has nuance to it.
Yeah. The better the pizza, the better the.
Although we found out later,
better the pizza, better the movie.
We found out, or recently, that the pizzas are more or less just the way we think, and so they're less ratings and more.
Well, that's
expression.
That's more honest than like thinking in stars.
Yeah, more contrived.
I don't
Jeez.
think in
That's
stars.
super contrived. Yeah.
It's
contrived.
Fact
Stars are contrived.
Honestly, it's neither here nor there.
Okay, you want to go first?
Me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do it, man.
Yeah, man. This is that crazy, like, spicy Thai tofu pizza deal that just, people are like, why is that even a pizza? But you know what? You've been to the Thai place. You know all about it. And so it's just what you wanted. Maybe to your neighbor, it's not a pizza. Maybe to the guy I'm looking at right now, it's not that good of a pizza. Devon Keys.
Who? Who's that guy?
But I knew what I was getting in line for. I knew what I was signing up for when I ordered, and it delivered. Delicious spicy Thai pizza, Devon Keys.
I'm gonna go second.
All right.
Do it.
I'm gonna go second.
Go.
Do it.
This is a it's a cheese pizza with peeps on it. With peeps, Easter egg candy peeps.
But no one would like that.
No. Peeps, and they're all melted, and the marshmallows is all like mixed in with the cheese and stuff.
Gross.
And you take
really
that's
gross.
what you think. You look at it, and you're like,
okay.
gross, dude.
Okay.
But then you take a bite, and you're just like, okay, wait, this works. That's weird. It works though. And then you start telling other people, no, okay, you gotta go in with a different mindset, right? Think about it. Don't think about it as pizza.
It's not just pizza.
It's not just pizza. Think about it as like, I don't know, a crazy dessert, like a savory dessert. And then they eat it and they're just like, oh, you're right, man.
And it works.
It works. That sugary crystals there.
Huh.
I've never tasted that on pizza before. You're like, yeah, well, you're not supposed to. But if you think about it,
But in this case,
it's great.
That's actually a pretty good one.
that is good. That's excellent.
I could have
Yeah.
said those same words and it'd still be true to me.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Right on, dude.
Very
That was
nice.
good. Very
Right
well.
on.
Very well done.
Very nice.
This one for me, that's so this is at obviously the Pacific Northwest. We're in the
Oh.
Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And the pine trees and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At a diner, and this diner serves, you know, regular diner food.
Yeah.
And
So this is like from where Twin Peaks is shot.
exactly, yeah. So we're in
Okay.
Twin Peaks.
All right.
And we're at the Double R Diner,
Uh-huh.
and you order. They serve pizza by the slice, and they happen to have a brick oven pizza, so it's just the most delicious pizza. Just brick oven pepperoni pizza. I order a slice of that, but I also order a slice of cherry pie
Mm-hmm.
2 pies.
and a
Pizza pie and
cup of coffee.
You like your food in wedge shape?
Yes, exactly.
see.
And
wedge of coffee.
the pizza's there, but I'm not really going for it. I'm just eating this pie. I'm really digging the cherry pie and coffee,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't actually even end up touching the pizza.
That's cool.
And it's just a very delicious,
Oh,
wonderful experience.
Dude, I respect that.
Yeah.
That's
what
really
a good
good.
pizza rating session this was.
Yeah, that was a good
honestly.
one.
Wow.
That's a really good one.
I feel like we've really taken this to another level.
Wow.
And on that
Transcendent
note,
pizza.
we're canceling talkies
No.
because of COVID.
No.
What?
We won't be back here
Stop.
for
Stop with your lies.
what about
You're not supposed to do the outro.
pandemic.
What's that?
Taylor's supposed to do the outro.
All right, wrap us up, Taylor.
This has been the Talkies by Carmen Line Studios, and this is what do we do this every Friday? Yeah, we usually do it Fridays. We missed one, whatever. Okay, cool. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.